guys hear me?
Yeah, you're very low though.
You can hear me now.
Yeah,
No,
but
only,
1 out of 10.
only on Saul's mic. Oh wait, we're live, right?
Yep. So so post about it, please, on the main page as well, because it's not showing. I think.
Yep.
Thanks. So I was coming in through Europe.
Yeah, probably from my mic.
Yeah.
If you just want to switch your computer to its Blue Yeti.
I'm gonna log on this. So what's going on?
All right. Well, we'll figure all that out. Let's just get
Okay.
this started. Welcome to the Rat Hole. I'm Jeff. I'm cheesed to meet you. I'm joined by my friend Lek, Mr. One.
Hey guys.
We also
everyone.
got a couple guests here. Got Lampoon from Honkler, as well as Matty Ice from Consensus Protocol, and of course our good friend Saul is going to join us momentarily. But what's going on, guys? How are we doing? Welcome to the Rat Hole, everybody.
Hey man, thank you for hosting. Doing good, man. A bit of weird times at the moment with everything that is ongoing, but we try to keep the spirit up. We try to keep building, and overall, man, I'm just cheesed to be here, cheesed to be talking on this podcast, cheesed to be with you guys today. Welcome everybody if you're new to this show. I just want to verify. Have you posted about it on the main page? Because I don't see it yet.
Yeah. Yep. There's people in the chat. We're rolling.
Okay, cool. Oh yeah, perfect. Nice. I will repost it right now. So yeah, if you're part of the early listeners, comment, like, repost. Yeah, man. We are about to start.
Yeah, chat's rolling. We're good. You know, this is I know it's episode 2, but this is kind of our debut right here. Episode 1 was a little bit of a cheese celebration, but this one is kind of the Rat Hole really taking shape. What we want it to be, a cool casual show where the Ratards can kind of hang out, chat, talk about the markets and stuff. I mean, we're kind of in insane times right now, on the brink of the apocalypse, it seems, and the market's just kind of crab a little bit. So, no Black Swan event. Knock on wood.
Yep, what should have been a black swan actually wasn't really taken as such by the markets. As of now, we don't know if it's delayed or we don't know what's going on, but I am personally very surprised about how well everything is holding at the moment. I think the economy is a
Trying to be
bit lost
sane, man.
itself. Yep. So who knows? It might be delayed, but it might also just be a situation where the rules are changing and only a few people really know what's coming next, and everything that was applied in the past and that used to work in the past might not work so well anymore. We'll see. We'll see what's going on, but it's we're gonna talk about the markets a lot and crypto in general. Just before you do, we have like deep thoughts about every family, every single soul on this planet that is impacted negatively by those events. We're praying for humanity. We want everyone to be just feeling good, people to be able to project themselves, not be fearful to evolve in this world. And well, this podcast is also here for that, for people to come hang out and just maybe for an hour or two step away from everything that is ongoing with all these news and this saturation that we have a little bit. So we're not ignoring this aspect of macro that is ongoing right now. We pray for the families. Now we will probably not focus on that for this episode, as the goal is not to just bring in more bad news or whatever.
Matty Ice, what's going on? Here for a second, but
Yeah.
that's okay. Still troubleshooting. Listen, the Rat Hole is a work in progress. Okay. What do they say? Rome was not built in a night. So the Rat Hole
built in a day.
not built in a night.
But do you know the second part of that phrase?
No, I don't actually.
They say Rome wasn't built in a day, but they were laying bricks every hour.
We are working.
So if Maddie cannot join, I got another friend who wants to join us at the moment. If Sol cannot manage to pull it out, I will check on this. But
No,
yeah, man, I'm ready.
That's all right.
It's
I'm
amazing
ready to
tech,
get this
man.
going.
It's like amazing tech. Like, I gotta reiterate again,
We're
man.
laying
When I saw
we're
my
laying the
rat,
proverbial cheese bricks right now.
We are. We really are.
Shit. So yeah, I mean, like so much shit has happened. Thankfully we did not pre-record anything because originally we were gonna do that, and if we did do that, then you guys would, the audience would be hearing us talk about how Pump Fund just got suspended, this and that, and just like that, it's all seemingly back to normal. I don't know.
Yeah, so about that, I can talk a little bit about the overall state of the trenches. So yeah, indeed, we had PumpFun account getting suspended temporarily. I think it still is. Elon and other people got suspended lately. There is a sound in the background. Who's that? I think it's Saul, huh?
I think that's you, to be honest. There's no sounds going on.
Okay, then it's good. So we had PumpFun, we had Good Morning, Good Night, and a bunch of other trading platforms getting suspended lately. That's for the latest crypto news with this stablecoin thing that we will shortly talk about. But yeah, basically, we don't really know what's going on. It seems that there is some mass reporting ongoing in between communities and different participants of the market, which is a bit surprising. I saw a lot of people really being excited about PumpFun Twitter account getting suspended, and well, there was a bunch of montage and memes about PumpFun getting sued by the SEC and all participants of PumpFun as well. All those are fake news as of today. But there was a lot of noise around that, and a lot of people just being overly excited and happy about this news. I will not really comment if it's good or bad, if PumpFun, is a consequences or a result of the market. But it was definitely some interesting thing to see. Some people are speculating that PumpFun is actually trying to gather a lot of the attention again before launching their own coin. They did it a few weeks ago, and now we have the suspension. I think PumpFun hasn't been mentioned as much as it is lately for a long time. So we'll see what will happen. The founder, Elon of PumpFun, he got unsuspended lately, I think today. So it didn't last for too long. We also had other major accounts like SPX, I think, getting suspended again, and Ticker Bitcoin getting shadow banned. So there is some stuff ongoing at the moment. I would guess that it's mostly people reporting each other and trying to fight each other, but I cannot tell. I am not sure, but it's definitely interesting times in the Solana trenches. In terms of volume, we don't really have much ongoing at the moment. There was a couple nice coins that actually boom like crazy. I think you did not miss Aura. Aura had a 200x candle in 5 days. It was absolutely insane. Congratulations to all the Aura bros out there stacking those Aura points. Um, but yeah, man. Otherwise in the trenches, pretty low volume. The amount of coins bounding is not that high as of now. Volume on chain, regardless of the chain, not crazy. We had AVAX actually gaining some momentum. Some plays on AVAX were doing great, but otherwise, pretty quiet. Pretty quiet days in the trenches at the moment, but we keep grinding. I am.
Yeah, never stop clicking, bro.
Never stop clicking. Yeah, exactly. And especially when people are kind of giving up, and the last trencher, which is myself, is kind of starting to doubt the future of this industry. It's usually a good time to lock in and to look for plays that you think are valuable and that have things to offer more than others. It can be narratives, can be whatever it is that you like. But just lock in, guys. Don't give up when everyone is. It's more of the opposite that you should do. So yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it at the moment for the Little trench briefing. One
I
last
just
thing that I can. Yeah, sure.
I just thought that the funniest part that I saw from all that was that lawyer who who posted a selfie and was like, "If you've been rugged on Pump Fun, you're entitled to financial compensation. Like, we will get this rectified." Okay, bro.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Yeah, that's. I think it's mostly engagement farming and shit posting.
I mean,
Everything that
yeah,
you see ongoing.
but can you
Um,
imagine if somebody actually tried to do that? Like, how much funds would they try and recoup? Billions of dollars.
yeah, yeah, because people have lost a shit ton over there. But I don't think it's actually possible to recover any of that.
Literally
But
impossible.
yeah, but yeah, man, I love to see those shit posts. Every time something a bit heavy happens in crypto, that's one of the main reasons why I'm here and why I love, why I'm cheesed to be here. It's the fucking memes, man. It's it's the way people talk about news and just shit posts. It's during
Dude,
those times, it's really
yeah,
heartwarming.
it was making me mad that I couldn't find the Saul Goodman meme to put in the replies there. I literally like I have so many cheese memes in my phone that sometimes there's just one that I will literally look for 5 minutes like straight. I know that sounds like a short amount of time, but to look for a photo for 5 minutes is kind of insane. And I literally couldn't find it.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Hey,
Matty
Maddie, I
Ice.
can hear you, man.
What's up?
Hey, Maddie.
I think we finally got the technical difficulties figured out here.
Good tech.
Yeah, we did.
Where there's a will, there's
Good
a way.
cheese tech.
The cheese pizza's in the oven. We've got the technical difficulties figured out. We're ready to have a comfy rat hole now, I think.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
So yeah,
So,
I'll just do a brief intro to Matt, just so people are familiar with him. Matt is a friend of mine, for a long time. We kind of go way back several years. We kind of circuitously came together in the cryptocurrency space through one of Matt's family members, and we really hit it off ever since then. And Matt is very largely involved in mining, Bitcoin, everything from Bitcoin to more obscure networks that he mines for. Particularly he's been interested in this network called Dynex. But yeah, I'll let Matt kind of take over and introduce himself. He's super knowledgeable in the space. What I would describe as the more serious cryptocurrency space, not so much meme coins and stuff. But yeah.
How's it going, guys?
hey,
So
Matt, welcome in.
I'm glad to be here. I know nothing about this. Paul or Saul just asked me to hop in on this with you guys. So always happy to shoot the shit and to learn and talk to cool people. So I'm the CEO of a company called Consensus Protocol. We also have a media presence with a Protocol Pulse network where we have one or two podcasts. One's called Cypherpunked, the other one's called Runway. And we have a sub company called Curated Mining where we do curated mining deployments for people where we just take kind of like a sweat equity, set up a sub company and kind of boutique manage it for different deployments or whatever our partners are interested in. But our parent company, Consensus Protocol, we own a lot of our own infrastructure and mining infrastructure, so heavily involved in Bitcoin mining and a lot of GPU stuff. We're starting to look at some AI, breaking into the high performance computing as well.
Man, that's cool. We're glad to have you here, man. We're glad to have you, someone a bit more knowledgeable on the technical side on crypto. We're going to talk a lot about market conditions and the meme coin industry, which I believe you're not so familiar with, right? I've heard that you're not really involved in this industry at all.
I'm not too involved with meme coins. I mean, I have a little Dogecoin from a long time ago, but
Yeah,
that's about it.
Holding it back from pre 2017 cycle, or
Pretty much, yeah. Sounds about
And
right.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, man. That's for the culture. I remember some of my friends before the Elon post saying, "Yeah, hold Dogecoin, etc." And I was telling them, "Nah, you should buy DeFi coins, utility project, etc." And we know what happened next, right? With Doge a couple years later. But yeah, man, that's awesome. Hopefully we'll be able to learn from you and the audience as well, and vice versa. Maybe maybe we can peel you into the meme coin industry a little more or not. We'll see. But we're very glad to have you here today, man. Thank you for joining.
I'm glad to be here. Yeah, I mean, I think meme coins are, I like the educational aspect of that. Was kind of what Dogecoin was this, it was this project where people, didn't have to risk their Bitcoin to kind of learn about how wallets worked, and it largely was a joke. That's kind of how it started, and it was just a way for people to learn about the technology, about Web3 tech. So that's what I remember about Dogecoin from way back in the day. It was like, hey, you want to lose your Bitcoin, so don't put that on your phone. And like, but if you want to learn how the technology works about public keys and private keys, you would kind of use Dogecoin, and people would send some to each other, and people could kind of learn and explore. That was what I found was cool about the technology. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting projects and things happening.
Meme coins are extremely powerful when it comes to onboarding people, and yeah, that's what you just said. But this is what the Dogecoin early community kind of focused on. Um, some other project nowadays, meme coins have really evolved into a very specific dynamic as of today. But some of the projects out there are still doing what you just said, which is trying to educate people and onboard people and just yeah, kind of reproduce what Dogecoin did back in the days, but in a newer form. And yeah, man, I believe this industry has a lot to offer. Meme coins, especially on the cult size, on the cult side, regardless of what product you have to offer, it can even be a non-product. You need people to actually use it, test it, and just support and promote it, right? You need users, and this is where some of the meme coins out there actually offer a lot of value, in my opinion. It's because of their user base and the people who are around. Some of them counts hundreds and hundreds of retail people who are just passionate about that. So yeah, I think that's one of the power of cheese. Maybe at some point we'll be able with this community to be able to beta test, to kind of monetize in certain ways this community that we have, just in order to have the traffic on certain products that some companies are paying people to test, to use, or just to engage with some of the posts, and we offer that kind of naturally. So we'll see where this evolves, man. But yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
think
that's an,
is network effects. That's what it sounded like to me. I think the key is just being transparent and educational about what you're doing, right? So I personally have no problem with meme coins. I think that's for most people, it's a lot of it is gambling, which is fine. I mean, I think as long as you're transparent and you say, hey, this is this is what it is, or hey, this project has this intended purpose, and transparency is key. What's the only thing that I don't like is the extractive nature, I would say, where you get retail in and then, they think this is like the next Bitcoin, and there's not going to be another Bitcoin, right? So kind of just being transparent and explaining, hey, this is an educational thing. You can learn about, the technology. Yes, it might go up, it might go down. People are going to, it's kind of like a gambling fun game because people love to gamble. People like to do certain things. So I think transparency is just key, right? But you see strong communities with, I think Dogecoin and Pepe, and I'm sure there's other ones as well. Those are the only two ones that I can really that I know about, really, that I can think of.
Yeah, that's
see,
kind of the
that's where
Oh, go ahead, Saul.
I was gonna say I think that's where kind of an interesting perspective, even in this episode right here, because I very much come from a perspective more similar to Matt's. Very deep technical stuff on the EVM side of things. Matt's definitely more interested in Bitcoin than I am, but I've been very deep into EVM smart contracts and everything from scaling solutions to middleware, etc. And I was very reticent to have any involvement with meme coins, and I viewed them very much as solely this sort of like stress test for blockchains, this high volume trading that at best was offering some kind of stress test. And yes, I viewed it very much as an extractive market that was, that had a lot of negative aspects to it, taking advantage of retail, pretty much using every kind of scheme that was possible for a small group of people to make money from a large group of people. But as I kind of, there's been this narrative that's been taking place in the industry. I go to these conferences everywhere, and more people are beginning to get disillusioned by this this utility narrative in a lot of ways. And what I mean by that, a lot of people are disillusioned by the fact that there are so many tokens that seem to be used as a funding mechanism to raise funds to, develop some sort of software. And then retroactively, there's some, like, the token is shoved into the equation somehow. This is either through some sort of half-baked staking mechanism or by making it such that you have to use these tokens to interact with the smart contract in some way. And in many ways, it's like purely an inefficiency where it would make more sense for the end user to use stable coins to pay for those services, since people, understand value in terms of stable coins like US dollars, not in these highly volatile cryptocurrencies. Or like, it's purely more efficient in most cases to use a blockchain's native token to pay for these services, because it requires less state update in updating these smart contracts. But I start so there is this feeling that like a lot of these things were misrepresented, and they were really very much just these funding mechanisms used to fund something without a lot of responsibility to the investors. And some projects are doing things the right way, where they are either trying to turn tokens into some sort of equity in the company that's building out this software, but a lot of them aren't. A lot of them like just have no responsibility to the investors, and a lot of people paid themselves high amounts of money based off of this retail investment, and either never delivered anything, or they delivered some sort of useless vaporware or semi-useful vaporware that they say is a lot more useful than it actually is. So that's kind of like my perspective.
Yeah,
Sure, sure.
I mean, just a segue from, that side of the spectrum of crypto. I mean, where it came from to where we are now, which is like from utility to from tangible utility to the utility of a community. We do have Lampoon here from Honkler, the clown coin. Um, what's up, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. Uh, yeah, dude, this is super dope. The rat hole, and I'm so happy to see the rat with the wig and the nose on. My wig is off to you guys, Maddie. I know you're not uh so updated on meme coins, but you do not see like any projects doing what Cheese is doing here with the live animated podcast, and they have a game being built, and these guys show up every day, man. Type in $Cheese. You'll see these guys working. I think they're on to something. I think they're on to something with this podcast. Thanks for having
What's
me,
the
guys.
what's the end game goal here? I'm just trying to be filled in to understand what's happening here. What are you guys hoping to accomplish?
Well, really, it's you know, Saul kind of coined the term FUBU finance, for us by us finance, right? Where a group of people kind of collectively get together and just, you know, invest in our own little financial cult, for lack of a better words, right? Um, we just it's like modern counterculture, if that makes sense.
Also,
There
Matt,
is a lot.
you introduced me to a book called The Sovereign Individual, which I know you're familiar with, which sort of describes this post-national world of all of these
Yeah.
like, internet native currencies for all these different groups. And that was the point I was getting to. I actually see for the first time a lot of these meme coin communities. I think associating them with the nonsense meme coins, many of the pump fund meme coins that are just like purely speculative plays. Um, I think I'm seeing this different trend where there are these communities like, Apu, Mog, and Giga, which are these like cohesive people where they may not even necessarily have a strongly defined future, but it's like a lot of very talented and creative people, and whether they're technically talented or just artistically talented, they've come together sort of behind the scenes. In Cheese, for example, we have people that are making games. We have people that are putting out like literally philosophical content. We have this podcast and many other things in the works where um, it might not even necessarily be like fully defined yet, but it almost is starting to form as some sort of like cohesive group with a goal to have our own sort of financial system where we can do, everything from finance one another or take care of community members that are experiencing financial hardship, all the way to offering something like interest-free loans or financing creative endeavors or technical endeavors. So um, I just find it to be a really interesting trend in the space, where at a cursory glance, it might not seem very serious, but once you get involved and kind of like look beneath the surface, there are a lot of industry people contributing to these things. And it is just something interesting and new happening from my perspective. And that's what excites me.
So I've been in meme coins for a little over 3 years now, and I've always been looking for those organic communities, communities of it's spontaneous people gathering around an idea or a meme or whatever, and just building around it. And in 3 years, most of the project I've came across and participated into at first were what I like to call ghost projects. So it's fake metrics, it's fake engagement, it's fake volume, and fake everything. And there is something called the dead internet theory, where I think it's 80% of the overall internet traffic is now run by bots. It's a bit similar on crypto, and I see some sort of a trend where we actually, pretty much since COVID happened, where people tend to focus a little more on what they can actually touch, feel, and participate into from a human perspective. And well, what we're trying to accomplish here, from my perspective, how I like to see it, and that's a good thing about this project, is that everyone can have a different perspective on how he sees it and what his targets are, etc. I like to believe we want to bring the old good crypto days back in the game, and doing this without, injecting millions of dollars on our side, trying to pump in them something, extract as much as possible. I think how I see cheese is really this kind of sandbox, long-term sandbox where people can join here at early stages, participate and bring whatever they want and project whatever they want. And I really like this. And I've been here for 3 years, and I've rarely come across project like this. I've come across a couple projects that were a little bit close, but never as productive and creative as the cheese community. And this is why I personally decided to join, and what I will try to help accomplish here. Just to provide some sort of a home for people, a place where, yes, there is a financial aspect to it, but there is also mostly a community of people who will support you, who will listen to you, who will help you out if you need any sort of advice. As Sol just said, we have a lot of talented people here from a technical aspect, from artistic aspect, etc. And I believe that's the true power of meme coins. And it's something that most people are slipping on nowadays. People are chasing the pump and dumps, the trade, the volume. They're chasing everything that is fake in this industry, and I'm kind of positioning myself in a spot where I think I will front run what's about to happen next, and it's some sort of back to the basics, pretty much.
Sorry, we've got a bit.
Yeah. Ultimately, just to kind of wrap that up, I mean, instead of, some grandiose promise of, an institution revolutionizing finance with this god tier protocol that's going to do this and do that, it's going to solve all the problems that is wrong with banking, whatever, what have you, like, that is all cut out. And really, the product is us. It's the people that decide to join in. The product is the culture that we decide to cultivate and create and propagate. So that's really what it comes down to.
I think in the coming years we're going to see a huge influx from the younger generation, because you got to think right now there's people online who are watching video game streamers, whether it be YouTube or Twitch or Kick TV, and they're donating money to it, or they're paying all these subscriptions to all their media online, donating money to these companies. They're literally donating money to OnlyFans. Once they get onboarded into crypto, They're going to find out that they can join a community who's been around for a super long time with the same exact ideals, mind share as them, and they're going to be able to park money in that as a sound investment and just hang out and watch their money go up potentially. You know, it's the, for me as someone who's an average Joe who does not have a lot to his name, you know, it's looking at the potential of all these memes that did do it right and they did build a huge community and they did build that mind share. Like, this might be some of our only chance out of the matrix. At least that's how I see it.
Another
Yes, Sol?
did I rug? Okay, here we go. Another
You're,
interesting
you're
thing
good. You're good.
that I'm seeing is, you know, we finally are at a stage, or at least we're very close to a stage in the like quote unquote Web3 space, where the tooling is very mature, such that actual traditional financial value can begin to start coming on chain. And there are many people working toward this. By that, I mean like more traditional financial vehicles and things. And I think eventually we might get to a place where things like equities are reissued as you know, tokenized things that work via smart contracts. And when that happens, I could very much see this sort of dichotomy happening where a lot of the former cryptocurrencies, something like Chainlink, for example, which did have a very meme-like community early on. They were creating a lot of you know, internet content and memes and things to grow this community and to you know, incentivize people to buy the token and hold the token, which had a lot of positive things for the financing of the building of Chainlink's tools and things. But I think there will be this dichotomy as those projects go the sort of traditional financial route and start abandoning some of this like early cryptocurrency ethos, which very much was, you know, for lack of a better word, like stuff that was born of kind of internet native nerds, people that spent a lot of time on the internet. And I could see it transforming much more to a more blue chip or traditional financial ethos. And at which case there will be a lot of people abandoned or that will be alienated from that value, which will be a lot of value. So that's another interesting trend I see happening. Like there very much is two different worlds in cryptocurrency now. There's like the Solana hyper speculative, hyper community focused arena, and then there is more of like the EVM arena and, you know, other related things which are tackling traditional financial value, and they're very much focused on becoming more and more serious, being treated more seriously, interacting with governments and things, and you know, large financial entities and stuff. So I think that's another interesting trend that really benefits a lot of these community things that are more focused on creative endeavors and that sort of thing.
So that kind of natural progression of maturity in the space you've described, if I could just piggyback off that and just direct a question towards Matty on this, who's perhaps more well versed in the whole macro crypto space. Matty, I'd love to hear your thoughts on if you've seen kind of a shift in market sentiment that kind of Saul's just been describing.
A shift in what? Say that one more time.
Sorry, a shift in market sentiment, or perhaps just general user engagement.
Man, I feel like Bitcoin dominance is near an all-time high right now. I think there's some promising macro stuff that's happening, but there's also, you know, the counter narrative of that, right? There's also a lot of stuff happening in the world right now that's scary from a macro perspective. I mean, look what's happening with Israel and Iran today. Look what's still going on with Ukraine and Russia. You know, but the Israel and Iran stuff it's a scary point. I mean, you know, there's you know, the U.S. may or may not be getting involved now. You know, so who knows what's going to happen over the next 48 hours. But that's definitely something to watch, and I think that's a big part of, we've kind of seen a pullback in the markets a little bit. But I think there are good things that are happening from a macro perspective, right? We do have the Genius Act passed today, so that was some stablecoin legislation, which means more people will be using blockchains, whether it's just told fiat on chain. I mean, there will be a flood of that, right? Because there's people all over the world in developing countries that don't have access to U.S. dollars or more stable fiat currencies. So that will be happening, and that will be a source of revenue for the for the Fed. Essentially, they'll be able to have people buying their debt for longer. So the fiat experiment shall continue longer. There's positive legislation when it comes to Web3 and Bitcoin in general in the United States, right? We've got a very accommodative administration in power right now. I'm not getting my bank account shut down anymore, so that's a huge plus. You know, so we'll see what happens, right? But there's still some uncertainty whether with the tariffs and will we see inflation from that? It doesn't appear so if you look at Trueflation data. But it's a mixed bag right now. It really is. There's a lot of conflicting signals, right? So the question is, how do you filter through the noise? I think as time goes on, it's largely bullish, but I do think from what I've seen good things and bad things for meme coins. I think largely a lot of it has been extractive, and you actually lose people that come and they are sold a bag of goods, and obviously there's personal accountability that needs to come to the equation, right? So I think transparency is key. Is, hey, this is not a financial thing. If it might go up, it might go down. It's kind of like gambling, or we have a community here. I think just being transparent is important. But I think that we will see how things play out over the next 48 months. I think there's a lot at stake and a lot happening in the world. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for sharing that. Would you say perhaps that given all of the current disruption and uncertainty in the world right now, do you think that's largely something that'll benefit kind of meme culture, for lack of a better term, and decentralized finance?
I listened to a really interesting podcast. I think it was maybe 4 years ago. It was on Bankless, and I think this guy was he was some kind of historian, but he was on with the Bankless guys, and he talked about memes as kind of almost like a historical. Basically, he went back through history and kind of described how Martin Luther had this kind of had the revolution where they kind of the church kind of split in the schism in the church, and they used memes to do that. So memes kind of transcend time and history, and they capture stuff that's happening in a moment historically. So I think that is definitely interesting, and I think there are interesting components there, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No,
I think Matt made a big point saying that most of the coins are here to extract liquidity as of today. Even some of the semi-major or major coins, they're all part of some money operation, and there is a financial aspect to them. The key point here is, what do these projects really provide from now on? I don't think this faking volume, faking supply control, this overall money extraction operation, because it's always the same dynamic. And I think it's also pretty similar to what certain altcoins did back in the days with certain VCs. We kind of have the same happening here for the last year and a half on chain, on Solana, and also on Ethereum, but from smaller and sometimes not so smaller participants of the markets. Memes are good to capture moments, and if they share a philosophy, an idea, and on top of that provide some platforms for people to uh, just talk and share their work and whatever exchange, I think this is where the real value will come from. You're gonna say it's similar to what Dogecoin did, for example, back in the days, but that culture kind of lost itself. As of today, people are chasing volume, green candles, and they're not really looking for a place to stay, and they really have nowhere to go. If you think about it, a lot of the retail, a lot of people, they have nowhere to go, and I think the memes that will provide this place to host them in a transparent way, that's a very key word, transparency. I think they will win, and I think they will have a I think there is a good future for them, not just financially in terms of candle, but just also in terms of moments shared and accomplishments, stuff that is being built, etc. So I think certain meme coins will do extremely well, but the vast majority of them will absolutely be at zero within a year or two. I think there will be a shift for that.
I
Yeah,
don't
the
want.
question is, what's the transparency? What are the tokenomics? There's so many different factors. The reason that Bitcoin has done so well I mean, obviously it solved so many problems when it comes to money, but the issuance of that supply is transparently known. We know the total supply. We know, how that supply is going to come into existence via proof of work. I think Dogecoin does use proof of work as well to issue the supply. So, those methods and methodology, what's the word here?
Methodologies.
Methods are
Methodology. I knew Saul was going to come in and save me with all his big fancy words. But
Smart guy.
I think looking at that, looking under the hood and really beginning, and that's the beautiful part of Web3 is that a lot of it is transparent. So you can actually see and evaluate, who are the holders, how does the supply come into issuance, how, what happens when the price of it goes up, what do the long term holders do? All these different things you can kind of evaluate and look at. But I mean, personally for me, I think people should come in the door through Bitcoin, understand that first before getting involved in anything else. Because once you understand Bitcoin, then you can say, okay, well, this is I call it the hurdle rate, right? Like Bitcoin is the soundest, scarcest form of money in all of human history. So once you understand that, it's like you want to gamble, you want to do other things, you want to be involved with other projects, fine. But understand that Bitcoin is really, they call it the gold standard, but it's the Bitcoin standard. So that's the way I think about it and look at it personally.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, ultimately, functionally, you know, Bitcoin and gold have a same functionality where it's like we as a society have determined that these things hold value, right? So if you take that logic to the extreme, the other end of that scale is meme coins where it's we decide that this has value right here. And obviously granted, there's a lot more value extraction, like you said it earlier, with meme coins. But the ones that do survive, the principles are the same as Bitcoin, where it's we decide that this has value. So
Yeah,
we're
I mean, like I hold my life's energy and savings energy in Bitcoin because I know that it can't be debased, and I know what the supply is going to look like, and I know how the issuance goes, and all of that's 100% transparent, and it stood the test of time, right? But I also have Pokemon cards that I like to collect, and I also have other things, sports
yep.
memorabilia, sports cards, that are not going to appreciate as much as Bitcoin or over the long haul, or they're just a different thing, right? So as long as people understand and know what they're getting themselves into and they understand that, I think that it's fine. Like I'm a libertarian at heart personally. I mean, like, let people explore and have fun and do what they want, right? So
Right.
I think that's kind of the way I look at it.
Right.
I do think
Absolutely.
that there. I was just gonna say, I do think there are these interesting analogies, like in the real world, where yeah, Bitcoin very much was the first, internet native digital currency that existed outside of the purview of any kind of government or like major company or something. Similarly, like there is the U.S. dollar, which is the furthest proliferated currency, whatever you want to call it. But like within the United States, there are all of these little like localized currency experiments. I can't think of the names of them, but there's one in Long Island, where this town in Long Island, they have their own like dollar that people actually use, and they maintain parity through like their local economy. Not parity with the dollar, but they maintain like a stable value of it. I think it's actually worth slightly more than a dollar. And there were like those Liberty dollars, which were some kind of like silver-backed currency. And now there are these various gold-backed currencies. I think they're literally called goldbacks, and they develop them around the Western United States. Utah has a branch, Wyoming has a branch, and they actually weave gold into these bills somehow, so that they have this sort of intrinsic value based on gold. It's not a pure fiat thing, but there is a fiat element to it. So yeah, I could see Bitcoin very much set like a really cool example, of solving all of these problems with money. And it's almost like people are kind of learning now that they're like, well, we have these much easier to replicate financial systems that we can sort of spark and instigate in our own direction. I think for a lot of people, Bitcoin is a little bit out of reach for them to participate or have influence on in their own way. But many of these communities, if they do have these, these feelings of transparency and these morals where they are really trying to do things the right way for the benefit of the community and participants, it could be a similar interesting financial experiment.
It just
out of reach for people. I don't understand what you mean by that.
I just mean having like influence on the Bitcoin network. Obviously, everyone can buy Bitcoin.
I think that's the point, right? The point is that nobody can influence the Bitcoin network. Bitcoin is what it is. That's the value proposition right there. Bitcoin is, digitally sound money for the internet age, right? That can't be debased. That nobody can change or influence. I like that's the point. It's the measuring stick, for money itself, for humanity. I mean, that's what it is.
Sure.
It worked really. It had it went throughout several bull runs, bear markets. It had this time to, it has those emissions, right? And it had all this time to distribute the supply into hands of people who believe in it, and that's what decentralization is about. It's not having a group owning 60-70% of the project. And this is something where I think I'm actually very convinced that a lot of meme coins out there will fail, is because they're part of some money operations. They're part of some sort of plans, and they're not here for the people. They're not here to really bring anything. They actually don't have any sort of product or anything like that. But not really here to criticize them. But we'll see. I think only time will really tell out of this sea of new projects, whether it's protocols or meme coins, straight up meme coins. Time will decide which one will actually survive or not. Yeah. But Bitcoin had what's like I think MicroStrategy currently owns 5% of the Bitcoin supply. Is that correct?
So MicroStrategy is, they have a treasury strategy of just continuing to try to accumulate Bitcoin, right? They're borrowing in U.S. dollars, which are going to continue to be massively printed. It's just like a kind of a glitch in the matrix. I mean, they're basically just buying the hardest money to ever exist, which goes up in terms of U.S. dollars, an average of 40 to 60% a year since inception, right? Because of the difference in the fundamental monetary policies, right? One is a hard cap supply with an inflation rate going down to zero over time, while the other one is, every time there's a crisis or problem or issue or, political unrest, we're just going to print trillions of dollars and debase, the savers and the poorest people. Now, your shit's more expensive now because we just printed trillions of dollars by pressing a couple buttons, right? So there's a big difference there, right? But yeah, they have a lot, MicroStrategy owns a lot of Bitcoin, and they're going to continue to execute on that strategy of accumulating more on their balance sheet. But the beautiful thing about a proof of work system is that, just because you own the coin, it's not a proof of stake system. You have no more control. It's really the nodes and the miners that control the network. They keep the network going, providing security and getting paid for that service.
And I saw people saying, yes, the cost of mining will probably shortly overcome the price of Bitcoin sustainably, but people will still be wanting to control the network. Do you think that's... I'm not so familiar with what I'm talking about, but people, I saw some very smart people saying that people will actually mine Bitcoin at loss from now on, and especially in a medium-term future, in order to keep control over the network. Do you agree with that?
No, so basically, there's a profit incentive to be a miner, just like if you're a gold miner, right? Like you're mining gold, you have to buy equipment, you have to buy machines, you have to pay electricity, you have to pay workers, etc. Right? And then if you get gold out of the ground, you're not going to sell the gold for less than what it costs you to get it, right? This is called a cost of production. It's like a lot of commodities have this. So Bitcoin is kind of like it responds to a commodity kind of cycle where it is this, you have a real world cost of production, right? With Bitcoin, it's energy and computer equipment, right? We call them ASICs. But with like gold mining, it's people and machines, right? And you have to extract it. It takes time. It takes energy. And then you get some gold out of the ground, and you're not going to sell it for less than what it cost you, right? Does that make sense?
No, but you
So
can mine it today for a loss in order because if there is a limited supply out there, same with gold. We on Earth there is a limited amount of gold. You can mine it today at a loss in order to sell it later on for profit. I heard some people talking about that this was inevitable for Bitcoin as well.
that's not really a sustainable business model. I mean, you can only do that for so long. I guess there may be periods of time where you have electrical contracts that you might have to mine at a loss. Personally, I've never experienced that. Um, because you can also get lower cost energy. You can do hydrothermal. You can do solar energy, wind energy. You can locate these stranded energy sources, and a lot of people that I work with and know, and personally I am myself doing that, right? So if you are producing when the sun's out, even if you don't have battery and your miner runs for 6 hours a day when the sun's out, you've essentially you're getting free energy, if you have the panels to cover that. So there's no loss there. I mean, aside from your time and energy, that even if the energy is free, you still have to. There's still work. You still have to maintain the machine. You still have to, fix fans every once in a while. But yeah, I mean, it's like that's not a sustainable business model to mine at a loss unless you're a small miner, right? Unless you have one machine or a couple machines in your garage, or some of those little lottery miners that they're selling now. Can't think of the name off the top. BitAxes, I believe. So that's for any business you're in. I mean, you can sustain a loss for a period of time, but you can't just do it forever indefinitely.
Yep.
So
okay, fair enough.
I want to interject quickly, just because Matty and I need to drop off here shortly. I had one more question for Matt, which I think is kind of interesting. Are you starting to sort of price things in your life in terms of Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, or do you still solely sort of price them in terms of like US dollars?
Of stats, which is Bitcoin. Obviously, 100 millionth of a Bitcoin is a stat. So that's how I think about things personally, right? There's a new Coinbase commercial they came out with that's pretty good that talks about the price of a house in Bitcoin over the past 5 to 10 years, right? So, I mean, the reason Bitcoin has been so successful and will continue to be, it is literally baked into the fundamentals of what it is itself. It's the fundamentals of the protocol, right? So it is the inflation rate. It is the hard cap, this idea of absolute scarcity. It is all of the proof of work energy, the miners that secure the network that is constantly growing over time, and this decentralized kind of competition to get more hash rate, to get more Bitcoin, to get those transaction fees. So it all just kind of feeds on itself. Was a brilliant design. I mean, Satoshi will be remembered as one of the famous like a Thomas Edison or an Albert Einstein, or somebody like that, right? Whoever invented the printing press. So that's why Bitcoin continues to do so well historically over time. Now, in my mind, Bitcoin is the hurdle rate, right? So everything else it doesn't mean I'm not going to, own Costco stock or fuck around with a meme coin or, do DeFi stuff or, I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, right? I'm a Bitcoin first kind of guy. And then everything else is, a lot of the Bitcoin maximalists can get this whole thing where it's like everything has to be money. It's like, no, not everything is money. I can still have my Pokemon cards and, own stock in different companies and, do different things, right? Invest in a business or gamble at the casino or, be happy with a meme coin community of people that I get along with and like to hang out with, right? You know what I think you guys should do? You guys should buy is Chuck E. Cheese still a thing? You guys should buy Chuck E. Cheese franchise and make all of the people have to use the cheese coin when they go to the
Holy shit! This is the best idea I've ever heard.
We have a great meme about that. We had this guy named Shitcoin Dr. Phil that we took over his Twitter space. And he blasted us. He was like, "You started a Chuck E. Cheese token?" And he just started, we ended up becoming friends with this guy, but it was absolutely hilarious just hearing him blast the token. But, I mean, that's the fun thing about this, the sky really is the limit. If we are able to...
I just asked Rock.
What was that?
This Chuck E. Cheese is still in business. I just asked Rock.
It is. They definitely
I'm sure
are.
he needs some help also.
You guys should make an acquisition here and just buy them out, and then every kid that comes in, you teach them how to use a wallet on their phone or whatever, little device or whatever. You give them a little device and teach them about the technology of private public keys and those different things, and have them set it up. And every time they go to a machine, they've got to send a transaction. They just press a couple buttons and send a cheese token or whatever, and boom, they can play on the basketball competition or whatever. Little pinball machine or whatever. Pretty cool.
unironically not a terrible idea. And these
It
are the
actually is
sort
a
of
pretty good idea.
yeah, it's about really facilitating a sort of legitimate economy where these tokens do exchange hands for legitimate reasons, not solely for shitcoin speculation. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
And
the
the education aspect is very important and kind of needed today. Like with the people, most people just see crypto as a, there is a phantom app. I just load up $100, I log on to Pump Fund or whatever, and I gamble and that's it. But that's absolutely not what crypto is about. So there's a lot we can do actually on the onboarding side. And if we want to become the next Dogecoin, that's one of the way I actually picture cheese. That's something we'll have to do. We'll have and yeah, it's something that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
What
well,
other questions you guys got for me? Or anybody else? Because me and Saul have to hop off pretty soon here.
yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, Saul, Matty Ice, I appreciate your time. Matty Ice, definitely appreciate you for coming on the. This is kind of our debut episode. I know it's episode 2, but it's a little bit of our debut. So I just kind of wanted to hear your closing thoughts on everything you've heard before you guys have to head out.
Well, it was nice to meet you guys. I mean, I don't know a lot about all this, but I just that was just the idea I had, and I hope I'm happy to come on again sometime when I'm a little bit more prepared and chat with you boys.
Dude,
but
absolutely. You're always
we are
welcome back anytime.
Yeah, we're cheesed to have you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you
cheers
for
to meet you,
joining,
bro.
and we'll have those episodes from now on once a week, if not twice a week. So yeah, it's definitely gonna be a bunch of opportunities to redo it again. So yeah, man. Thank you for joining. Thanks a lot.
all right, boys. It's been a
sorry,
pleasure having
Maddie. Just one more thing. Do you mind just quickly plugging your socials here so we could follow you?
Sure, yeah. So I've been ramping that up. My team has requested. I've been a more behind the scenes kind of guy for the past decade, but my team has requested that we start a media stuff, and so now I'm funding different podcasts and all sorts of stuff. But I'm not sure where to plug it. But you can follow me on X at Matty Ice Sensei, and our podcast is at Cypherpunked with a D, and then I think it's an underscore. Let me see if I can. Is there anywhere I can type on this? Oh, wait, that
In
might
the
be
drop
chat,
it all
yeah.
in the Telegram.
So
We
it
have
was
a
it was it was
Telegram group.
I'm in
it
Discord
was
right now. I
at
don't know.
at Matty Ice Sensei. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'll pull this up in Discord, I guess.
All Cheese Bros, go follow him right now. We'll put it in the TG everywhere. Go follow him right now and tell him you're cheese to meet him.
You guys are
Cheers to
funny.
meet you.
All right. So I put it in the general chat in your Discord from what Saul
Oh,
invited me
great.
to.
Thanks for that. We'll put that on the stream on X right now. Thanks, Maddie. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. So these are our media channels. Those are
Yeah,
what
we're
we
gonna
have.
share.
That's on X. So
I'm gonna mute myself and drop off. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Good
Good
night,
night.
Good
Saul.
night.
Cheers
Cheers
to
to
you,
meet you
man.
guys. Thanks, guys.
thanks for having us.
Thank you, Matt. It's good morning for me. The day is just starting.
We got Cheese Bros all over the world.
We actually do, man. From New Zealand to west coast of America to Europoors. We got a bit of everything here.
Although the Europours are getting a little cucked right now with the timing of the show, but life goes on.
Yeah, that's why it's recorded, man. They can join, and if they really want to, they can
Absolutely.
stay awake. So
Yeah.
I was
That's the
wondering
beauty of it, though, right? You get to meet all these people from across the world and build all these connections that you never would have made without coming to the space.
100%.
They say your network is your net worth, bro, and you guys are a test to that. You guys are killing it. You're making a lot of progress really fast. It's super dope.
Thank you, Poon. Thank you, man.
I was being so serious when I say all the Cheese Bros listening right now, go blow up Matty Ice and tell him you're cheese to meet him. Right now. Go, 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 go.
Is the protocol Pulse? Have you sent the? We need the links in the cheese chats, ideally.
I already had him followed. Hold on. I think. Oh, Wood Schizo's on it, of course. He's always
Oh,
on it.
Protocol Pulse HQ. That's what it is about, right? Freedom Axis.
Yep.
Oh
But
yeah, oh yeah.
okay, that was a lot of Bitcoin talk. Um, so let's shift our focus a little bit. There was one thing I really wanted to talk about on this show, and or at least for this episode rather. And I don't know why it piqued my interest so much, but everything I saw this week on X, I could not stop. Like, I was so interested in everything that was happening with the Murad list civil war.
The so-called civil war, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
dude,
pretty
it's
crazy times.
crazy because when I first started getting into meme coins like heavily in November, I'd been in meme coins before, but I wasn't really on X so much. So when I first started getting into them, Chulo actually made me watch the Murad what is it, the Crypto 2049 video? Is that what it is? Where he's in
Yeah, yeah.
Singapore?
Yes,
So
yes,
he
that
made
was
me
it.
watch that, right? So I got introduced to all the Murad coins, whatever, what have you. And just to see how it's evolved or devolved, based on your perspective into two of the main ones being kind of at each other's throats is like really interesting to me.
Yeah, so there was a lot of criticism coming from the project that were not as heavily supported by Murad post-release of the list, right? At first, everyone was getting excited, and then there was a couple projects of the list that got more promoted than the rest, and one in particular. And well, the rest kind of felt a bit, left behind in some ways, and there was some interesting dynamics, some funny memes, I have to say. I'm not here to name project or whatever, but some of these communities they're memeing this Murad situation to the best. It makes me laugh every single day. And yeah, lately we had a bit more fighting going on, but I believe this is heading in a better direction at the moment. There was some feedback between major participants in several of these coins actually, and they started talking within each other and yeah just giving some sort of a direction to follow from here, and that direction is, guys, do not fight each other. Let's support, let's it's builders support builders. So if you're part of a project and you believe in it, and um, whatever is going on, you should not be focusing your attention on criticizing what other peoples are doing, etc., because it gives a bad look, and from the outside, for outsiders, it gives a bad look, and it also drives your energy away from actually building things that will be valuable for your community or project cryptocurrency. So
Definitely. Yeah.
so
Uh, I'm
I
just
I don't
interested to
really.
see where it goes from here.
Again, Jeff, sorry.
I said I'm interested to see where it goes from here.
Me too. Me too. I think people have understood by now what needs and what doesn't need to be done. Personally, I haven't seen so much of the hating that people were really describing. Oh, there is too much FUD, too much drama. I haven't seen it on my timeline personally, but apparently it's there and it's getting addressed. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. But well, Murad list. Murad picked, I think, 10 coins, around 10 projects. Surely, out of the tens, there is going to be one or two that will take, at least momentarily, the spotlight before it can turn into another project or whatever. So I say just focus on the good stuff, on the good vibes, on the memes, and on building whatever you want to build. And I think from now on, we're going to head towards the good direction because I see less and less fighting personally. I see much less fighting and problems and drama on the timeline that I would a couple months ago or last year. So, and that's what I'm looking for. So, I'm actually happy about it. I don't know. I don't know if Lampoon, if you have something to say about Murad list, Murad thesis, or I don't know if you're aware of the latest Murad dynamics between several projects. I don't know if you want to comment on this.
The new, what you just mentioned is new to me. I mean, I don't really follow him online or his list or anything. I just know that a lot of people follow him in, and he has a good thesis, and I like what his thesis is around, like it's the mind share thing, right? That's why he chose those coins is because they all have this very specific mind share or die-hard holders. But what happens when you have die-hard holders pit up against die-hard holders? You know, it's bound to happen when you put everybody in the spotlight. It's hard for people not to compete when you're trying to become his
Yeah,
favorite. I suppose could it be a curse being on his list? I don't know. I mean, sure, it'll help you, but it's just the competition between those communities. It could be unavoided.
it's a lot of jealousy, right? I think people wish their tokens went up as high and as strong as SPX, but it didn't. And and I mean, so be it, man. You gotta work with what you got and keep on building. I don't think Murad list is a net ultra positive or ultra negative about anything. It's just it's a new entry gate. It's a new entry for newcomers to actually get interested into crypto, and he's doing it the right way with those TikToks, all those docs videos, those formats. I think he's still pulling out some content as of now, and I think it's improving as well. So I mean, he's doing the job that a lot of us should actually be doing for our coins. So you can, I don't really see how you can really heavily criticize him for not picking up your coins. Memeing it and having fun of it is actually, uh, it's perfectly fine. You know, if you're gonna make some memes around Murad and laugh about the situation, that's cool. But yeah, getting aggressive and yeah, trying to fight each other, that's not the way, man. So
The memes have been good. That's at first I thought it was just like good old fashioned memeing, and then it kind of flipped on its head. But the memes have been good, which ultimately is what I care about the most.
yeah, I think a community that did a particularly great job at this lately was Sticker Bitcoin. Uh, they pretty
Dude,
much
it's so
took,
funny.
brother. They took they took Murad glasses with the eyes, and they started pasting it on all of their memes and Sprotos profile pictures. And man, it's just like if you hang around their chat or on their timeline, it's actually fucking amazing what they're doing. And apparently, some of their community was actually fighting. I think SPX people. That's what I did not see personally. I was a bit amazed by this Mung post. Um, but hey, Mung is a SPX OG. He kind of redirected some of the negative energy back in the early SPX days, and I believe he's trying to do the same with Ticker Bitcoin as of now. And well, although I did not see it, I believe him when he says it was around and needs to be improved. And the answer from the Ticker Bitcoin community was absolutely amazing. They were really welcoming of the criticism, and they really supported it. And I think they're already addressing, if not addressed it. So yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, man. And shout out for their memes, man. I'm just
Yes.
laughing so hard, man.
Shout out the memes. Um, all right, well, I think that about does it for the cozy discussion. We covered a lot. I think it's time, Diz, to get into our community voicemail lines. What do you say, boyos?
Ooh, I'm down, man. Let's go.
I'm very excited. Should we just quickly uh explain what these
Oh,
voice lines
yep,
actually are?
absolutely. Sorry, my mistake is that I've known everything that's going to happen before it happens, and you guys don't. Um, so with the rat hole, what we want to do is the first half of the show, we're going to have some cozy discussion. The second half of the show is going to be more segmented cheese content. And our first segment, and a segment I think that will be reoccurring and very fun for everybody, is the our rat hole voicemail line segment where everybody from the community can submit their calls to an anonymous voice line, and we'll pick some of the best ones, some of the ones that are the funniest or leads to the best discussion, and we'll play them on the show and we'll react to them live. I have heard all of these. No one else has. Oh, if you guys want to hear them, join the Discord stream, which I'm sure will be posted in the Telegram. Is that right? Oh, got it. Okay. Sorry, Jamie was in my ear telling me something.
Yeah, Jamie.
Thank you, Crypto Jamie, aka Diz.
Yeah. Yeah. Crypto Jamie will shortly be putting things up on screen. And by up on screen, we mean playing back our cheese voicemails.
Okay, so I think we got the
Hey,
first one coming in.
retardis. Thinking about rotating chain link into cheese.
Yeah, we should have a caller number one on the line
What you
shortly.
think about? Yes or no?
So it is. It just got played. The listeners heard it, but I think the sound is very low at the moment. Diz, I don't know if you can increase it. So for the speakers, we gotta join the Diz stream in the Discord in order to be able to hear it, and listeners are already hearing it. So. A little bit of setup still ongoing. It's about to play shortly. If you want to join,
brick by brick.
Brick by brick, layer of cheese by layer of cheese.
That's right.
Gonna-
Cheese block by cheese block.
We're gonna have those episodes, podcasts, once a week or even twice a week. But this meetup that we have today, will be a weekly one at the same time, every week. So yeah, if you wanna, just be aware, and if you're actually interested by joining the next episode as a guest or anything like this, you're more than welcomed. Yeah, it's a chill pod. Oh, stream.
Are we
We
supposed
just
to
have-
be able to see the chat on the stream, by the way? I thought you mentioned that before we started, and I haven't seen the chat pop up at all.
It's on that's on X. If you open the broadcast on X, that's where it is.
Okay.
I think
Hey,
Jamie's giving us the heads up.
retardis.
Okay, let's go.
Hey, retardis. Thinking about rotating chain link into cheese.
I can't hear anything.
What you thinking
I
about?
can't hear it
Yes or
neither.
no?
You know,
Otherwise,
sometimes.
until
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was about to say, do we want to jump on the cheesy announcements maybe until this gets this sorted out, or
You know what?
I mean,
That's a great idea. We were gonna save it for the end, but oh, people in the chat on X say they can hear it, so it's just
Oh.
us that can hear it. But all right. Well, until it gets figured out, in the meantime, I will announce our big announcement, which is that Mouse Cafe, which I'm sure everybody has seen, you know, little leaks here and there on X and in the Telegram. Mouse Cafe, July 1st.
let's go.
Wow.
Oh, July 1st, really? Wow.
Yeah, July 1st.
That's
Big,
very, very exciting.
big shout out to Barney. This dude is a literal machine. He built 4Cheese and then went back to work and cooked up Mouse Cafe, and it's insane to watch this guy work, especially behind the scenes. Like you guys don't see the amount of work that this guy puts in. It's insane. It's mind blowing.
So we got
If you'd like me to speak on Mouse Cafe a bit more in detail, I mean, I'm working directly with Barney on creating this, so I can provide more detail or some like specific questions, or yeah.
I wasn't aware that it was in 2 weeks, man. But yeah, tell us more if you can.
Yeah, of course. So Mouse Cafe is it will be a interactive browser-based online social game. It is reflective of the old internet, I guess you could say. You can think of things like, for those old enough listening, maybe you're familiar with Club Penguin, perhaps things like Habbo Hotel. But yeah, Mouse Cafe is a very, very similar kind of game. It's primarily a social hangout spot. And it's a place that showcases the art we've created, the community spirit, the humor, and the values and belonging we have in the cheese space. So, you know, there's a lot of love going into this, and we're really excited to play with you guys in a couple of weeks.
Man, I wasn't expecting it to be in 2 weeks already. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I'll be able to come
Yeah.
in there as my clown rat, right?
Ooh, you can definitely join as a rat, as a clown rat. You know,
think
watch
that was
this
one of the-
space.
Secret
I think we
skin,
had this-
secret unlockable skin.
Yeah, you gotta pay $5 if you want to be a Honkler on Mouse Cafe. No, but we were talking about we're discussing
Well, actually,
about the
speaking of-
possibility of including other characters on it, but it will be mouse focused, obviously.
Yeah, well, speaking on monetization, you know, one of the things with GameFi in crypto spaces is that it's always crypto first, game second, and that's not the way gaming works. You want your game to be fun, engaging. You want to give people a reason to hang around. If people join a game server and the first thing they see is, you know, buy this cosmetic, buy this, buy that, that's crap. No one wants to hang around there. The whole point of Mouse Cafe is to make it inclusive, be genuinely creative and fun, and give people a reason to hang out and just, you know, be cheesy.
Yeah, I agree with that. I still think there should be some sort of a shop somewhere, maybe hidden on some map of the Mouse Cafe where you can purchase a couple of things. But I also fully agree with what you're saying. People don't really want to be. Yeah, people want a good place to hang out or a good game to play. That's what
Yeah.
Mouse Cafe will provide.
Yeah, and,
But I'm
and just
excited,
like
man.
and just like any online game, you know, the great thing is that you know, we can easily add future updates. There's a plethora of features and you know, new levels, new character designs we can keep adding. So, and the best thing is that when the community plays it, they know what they want. They know what they want to see and play with. So, you know, community feedback is, you know, paramount. And we're really excited that we can build stuff you guys actually want to use and see. So, really exciting.
And this is something that has not been done in crypto before.
No, I mean, look, games exist in crypto, right? But like I said, they're often quite sloppy and just, you know, no one plays them.
They're trying to integrate some sort of like the tokens or the NFT, but in a bit of a weird way that isn't appealing at all after a short amount of time. Actually, people and as you said, some people just check it out and they might be interested, but they see there's some promotion ongoing in there, and then they're like instantly disinterested on it. So, but yeah, man, it's I kind of see it as the 2.0 or the 3.0 or 4.0, I don't know, of the crypto websites. Yeah, I'm curious to see how it will go, and I'm excited, man.
So in the testing, the first day that we did one of the tests, I was in there and I shit you not, I could not stop laughing the entire time. It was so fucking funny. And there was only like 4 or 5 of us in there, so I can't even imagine how funny it's going to be when the entire Telegram is in there. It's going to be so funny.
Yeah, it was really, yeah. I feel quite sad for those that aren't doing beta testing right now. But
But
yeah,
too
it's
short,
2 more weeks.
2 short weeks.
2 more
yeah.
weeks, 2 more short weeks.
2 more weeks, and you'll be able to play it. I like the idea of integrating other, if not 10, maybe 2 or 3 different playable characters. So maybe one mouse, one my lady, or something like this. I don't know, but we'll discuss about that, right?
It's not a bad idea, man. Just like thinking about just games in general, people want stuff to grind towards. So, you know, if you can have some kind of cosmetic or unlockable, that's just another reason for them to stay in there longer and doing something you could progress with somebody else at the same time, like progress your quest at the same time.
Oh, totally agree. And I think the best part is once we have people playing and experiencing Mouse Cafe, what they want, we can then take that feedback and build the kind of things they want to see. So yeah, just super exciting, and just the artwork is very soulful, and we're also proudly AI slop free, so everything's been
Hand-drawn.
hand drawn. And like,
That's
no, I mean,
awesome.
that's kind of a massive point of differentiation, right? So many projects just like zero effort, slop. It's like, come on, man, put some love into
I
it, you
mean,
know?
they do mess around with the AI a little bit, but it ends up there pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can, I mean, look, truth is everyone uses AI tools, right? But you want the centerpiece of your work to be human made with love, I think. And I think Mouse Cafe will reflect that. So yeah, super exciting, man.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. And it's also not yet another platform that she's will provide and possibly gather all different cheese platforms into one at some point. Um Everything cheese related will be potentially integrated in Mouse Cafe at some point. And man, that's cool. That's the Ready Player One of crypto culture coins. I kind of like it.
All all I'm gonna say is when you load into Mouse Cafe on July 1st, just check out the community board.
Yes,
But all
absolutely.
right. In the meantime, I have jury rigged some incredible cheese tech on the back end, so I have the voicemails for the people. I know that the audience already heard the first one, but I'll play the first one again just so the rest of chat can hear, or the rest of the cast can hear.
Go ahead, Jamie.
Hey, Artie's thinking about rotating chain link into cheese. What you think about? Yes or no?
Well, he would not be the first one to do that. I believe we have a couple link marines already swapping
I
some link
I
marines.
literally did this in January. I'll never forget when I did it because I was sitting in a movie theater waiting for my movie to start, and cheese had hit like a massive dip, and I was already planning on doing it anyways. And it was a pretty like it wasn't like a life changing amount of link that I had, but it was it was not zero. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, and I swapped it all there in a movie theater.
So
Damn.
for those who are not aware, Cheese was initially born on 4chan, and 4chan is a platform where many projects were supported early on, and where a lot of the current Link Marines come from. Um, Other projects have been born there, but Cheese is pretty much the last coin. It's actually the last 4chan coin that is alive today, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it doesn't really matter. But it's the one with the biggest spirits, and who made the more noise in the last month. Like we have so many memes about
It's
Janice
the last
canceling us.
it's the last one that Biz like truly rallied behind. Cause I'm sure there was some afterwards, but like Cheese was the last one that really captured the Biz magic. And that's why, there's so many people that remain here 7 months later.
Yep, they were here since day one, and they're gonna be here for uh you know
Now you're here
years to
forever.
come. Yep, forever, exactly. So,
So
man, to answer his question, I would say yes. Fuck yeah, man. Swap your link. If not all of it, some of it, especially if you get some good ratios, right? Good amount of cheese per link. Let's say if you get to a point that is interesting to you, well, I can see some bigger upwards at cheese than link, but we're not here to tell people what to do or give financial advices.
Yeah, not financial advice, but it was the best trade I've ever made in my life because I believe when I did it, Link was at $25. And I don't know what the fuck it's at now, but I know it's not
certainly
$25.
not not 25.
Is the
Well,
token is not sneeded. The cheese token is sneeded.
well, put it this way: does Chainlink have Mass Cafe in 2 weeks?
Oh, I don't think so.
I don't think
Although
so,
Sergey
buddy.
is
I
the
don't think
biggest rat.
so. So to answer the guy's question, look, I'm just cheesed to meet you in 2 weeks.
Yeah. All right, let's
Yeah, we're
move
gonna
on.
have a
I
big
think we've
party
got a
at Mouse
few
Cafe.
more. Absolutely, we've got a few more calls on the line. I think.
Yep.
So I'm here at the Gatlinburg Farmers Market, which is being held at the American Legion Post 202 Auxiliary Unit. Anyway, the farmers market's outside, so I was hot and I went inside to the American Legion, and it was very dingy and dark, and the smell of must was palpable. You look on the wall, and there's hundreds of old men. You turn right around. Then I told my friend about all this stuff that happened, and I saw a lady who was having her business at the farmer's market overhearing me, and she was like, "Are you kidding me? These guys have given their life for their country." And I just felt very awkward.
Oh,
I know that was a wild ride. There's the ratio of Americans has gone down as the call has gone on, or as the show has gone on rather, excuse me. Where what the Appalachian tourist is talking about, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, is kind of a backwoods mountain town in the south of the southern part of America. So, he talked shit about the town and he got his comeuppance.
That's where the first Civil War fight took place, right?
Not in Tennessee,
Okay.
but it's one of the most interesting places I've ever traveled to in America because it's kind of like the lands that time forgot. Like if I were not white in that town, I would be afraid, honestly. I really would. But I am white, so I was fine.
Do you think they have a particular attitude towards cheese in that town, or?
I mean, they have to. They have to. They're too big to not. They
Too
definitely
big?
do.
Okay. Too
Yeah.
big to not cheese.
Too big to not cheese. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, you guys don't have context for that. Like, if Gatlinburg is a very like American. Lampoon, have you ever heard of Gatlinburg or been there?
I haven't been there, but I've heard of it.
Yeah, tucked away. Yeah.
Well, I
Alright,
think perhaps cheese needs to spread the good word of cheese to Gatlinburg at some point in the future. So
you know what? I'm gonna call the Appalachian tourist back and I'll let him know he has a new mission.
cheese missionary, absolutely.
As a non-American, I understood nothing of what you guys talked about in the last 3 minutes.
Okay, so basically, he was in this town, right? He walked into the American Legion, which is like a veteran center for American, veterans, like a veterans association. And he kind of walked in there and was not feeling the vibes. He walked outside and told the person he was with how shitty it was inside. And one of the locals basically bitched him out.
Ooh,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
that sounds very uncheese-like, in my opinion.
Yeah, she was not cheese to meet him, I guess.
No, she wasn't cheese to meet him.
Yeah, and I cannot really comment on this. Oh.
Luckily,
it must be
no,
to be
go
hard
ahead.
to be veteran. It must not be easy always to, with the public opinions that are changing and also politicians that are changing. If you fought for president back in, I don't know which year it was, and if you're fighting for Trump today or whatever, it's very different depending on which war, like what conflict you're assigned. And well, I guess coming back to normal life after serving your country must be one of the hardest things ever. I cannot imagine how hard it is.
Honestly, it doesn't even matter who the president is. The way that veterans are treated on the back end in America, like I said, it doesn't matter who the president is. It's very they kind of get disrespected, honestly, by the government, mostly, like in totality. They kind of just brush them off to the side after they come back, especially after like major conflicts. It's not the best.
Yeah, that's fucked up. And if you add on that the public opinion that sometimes goes against you as well, it must be very rough for all the veterans out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, shout out to them, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you for your service.
Yeah,
Peace and
well,
you.
All right, let's move on
I
to
saw a
this
lot of
last
memes.
one.
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's go.
This one is
Next
my.
caller.
Here we go.
Hey, y'all, what up, man? This Malik, dog. Hey, man, I got a problem, man. This bitch I've been fucking with, man. Hey, her white boy about to find out on us, man. Shit, bro. I don't know how I'm gonna tell the little man, dog. Hey, y'all got any advice for me about how I can break the news to this man? Y'all, he's a good dude. He's just a little bit kind of a nerd, you know what I'm saying? And man, his wife keeps telling me that he just ain't right for her, man, and she likes hanging out with me. She says she's more into black guys anyway. Anyway, man, just want to hear what y'all think. Thanks, dog. Peace.
So maybe we'll just clarify for our listeners what our callers talking about.
Malik.
Malik. So Malik is what? Is that correct? But his
Yeah,
girlfriend prefers black men.
No. Malik has been Malik has been
You're sleeping
fucking
with another man's woman.
Ah, okay.
You have to, assert your dominance, man. Compare from unto cheese.
Well, I just think that the position that this woman has put Malik in is unfair because ultimately she's cheating on her boyfriend with Malik. That's not his problem.
Mm.
Like he shouldn't have to deal. He shouldn't have to tell, you know, this poor cuck what's going on. This is on her. All that is done in the darkness will be brought to light.
Yeah, I feel like Malik has been, man, Malik sounds like a really upstanding, intelligent, wise young man. And I really think he deserves a woman in his life who appreciates that and matches his energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You know,
Women
Malik, if
should
you're
be led.
listening. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think the women should be a bit more accountable. I think they've been through a time where we kind of allow them to do everything, and it's fine to allow them to do stuff, but not just everything, right? And yeah, it's about time to for everyone, not just women, but everyone to be a bit more accountable about what they're doing and the consequences that it has. So I don't think he's doing anything wrong. I agree with you, Jeff. I think it's on the woman to actually address this with her white boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, if she prefers black guys anyway, like, why is she wasting his time?
Yeah, look, it sounds like Malik, is a connoisseur of the finer things in life, fine cheeses, if you will. And I think she's not appreciating the effort he goes towards in cultivating that lactose enjoyment. So perhaps it's time for Malik to move on to a woman who likes that parmesan. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I think that's the best answer.
Yeah. So Malik, if you're listening, sorry, brother, but you'll find your cheese.
You'll find your cheese.
Let us know. Let us know next week how that went.
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
Malik. Call back
Yeah,
and let us
please.
know what happened.
Why settle for one piece when there's a whole platter?
Ooh, that is like a Ruth Nuke.
Oh.
Lampoon with the banger.
All right, guys. With that,
Yep.
I think
Yep.
I think we'll call it episode 2 here, the end of it.
So before
Lampoon-
we end, I
Oh,
was
yep.
just before we end, I was just willing to ask Lampoon. We have Lampoon here from Honkler on Ethereum, and up to you, man. You don't have to, but if you want to, maybe talk a little bit about what's going on at Honk or Honk in general, the meme Honkler. Um, yeah, if you want to promote it or anything, just you can. I mean, feel free to. If not, I think we'll let
Yeah,
Jeff speak.
I can do a quick little rundown of it. Honkler, Honk, Peppo Clown, Clown Pepe. It's a very popular 4chan meme that originated in 2019. This token has been launched over and over and over and over again by bad acting devs. And this launch, it was our turn where we said no more. This token has stood the test of time online, being banned from 4chan, being banned from Facebook, being hated on by media outlets, whether it be for a neo-Nazi symbol or for an extreme LGBTQ symbol. Like, people hate this meme, man. The media hates this meme, and it just keeps coming back, you know. And we decided to CTO this, and I think there's a lot of people who love this meme, and it really has a possibility to do successful. We're over a year and 3 months old now. We were able to acquire Honkler.com, which is actually pretty crazy for a meme coin. It really worked out for us. Kind of fell right in our hands. You know, just trying to survive this bear market with all this bearish news. You know, this coin and a lot of coins that have launched recently really have not seen bullish market conditions. So the people who are showing up every day and grinding and working for their bags and making friends and networking, like, if you're listening to this podcast here right now, odds are you are going to make it, bro, because you're showing up. You're on a Tuesday night at 9:40 p.m. for me, bro. If you're here right now showing up every day, you're gonna make it, man. You're gonna make it.
Just
And
gotta
as for
keep working.
Honkler, you know, I think Honkler will see its time, man. Arguably I would say it's the most shared 4chan meme across Telegram. I actually found a picture the other day. There's this from one. There's 34 sticker packs made by anonymous people on the internet, animated by Honkler, and one single sticker pack. I found the statistics from 3 years ago has 106 million downloads of this one sticker pack, and it gets used on an average of 25,000 times a day across Telegram alone. So
Wow.
it's pretty
huge.
popular, man. It's a huge meme, and there's a lot of people who love the meme. They love the art, and you know, it has been associated with neo-Nazism before, and you know, I don't want it to be seen like that, you know. And I think it's the people who really love this character and like to create content for it, and you know, clown world like to not take life so seriously, you know. There's a war going on right now, and like there's quite literally nothing we can do besides sit here and watch it and try and laugh, you know.
Honkler is a bit of the anti-meme in of all the memes, and part of the lore is Honkler is fighting NPC. Right, he's just fighting the average, the average citizen of this planet. He just broke a nerve and went on a vendetta against them, and it's actually really funny. And I think it's amongst the sea of memes that we are living in, of tokenized memes. I think Honkler is one that is definitely worth keeping an eye on. As I said, as the anti-meme, it has some people, you know, some very strong holders who've been holding for a year and a half. At the moment, I think it's double bottoming on top of this. So we're really at the lows. I don't know if you can, Lampoon maybe confirm, but or I can check it. It is double bottoming at the moment. So yeah, man, definitely keep an eye on it. And man, I did not know that it had 1.6 million Telegram downloads. That's actually fucking insane. That's crazy, man. I love Honk, and it's not because it was affiliated with whatever, you know, movement. Like a lot of the major memes got at some point affiliated with Nazi stuff or, you know, white supremacist stuff, etc. I'm not gonna name specific tokens, but a lot of them. And this doesn't mean anything. The memes are out there, and people will use them in different ways, and that's actually a great sign. If people picture your coin, your meme coin, differently, and yeah, and approach it from different angles, I think that's a good thing, man. I really love Honkler, and yeah, man. I'm happy you joined also today, Lampoon. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah,
Appreciate you,
I
man.
love the 4chan characters, all of them, because like if you actually look at them, it's not just Honkler, man. Like Bobo, Pepe, Cheese, everybody, man. They all. It's not just like a static picture of these characters. They all have emotions. He's smiling in this one. They're crying in this one. They're angry in this one. Like, it's not just a picture. It's like a whole way to express yourself with these characters.
It is, man. Yeah.
Yep. Well, with that, I think we'll wrap up episode 2 here again. Lampoon, appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming on. And to the audience, everybody that listened in, we appreciate you too. Thanks for so much for listening in. And until next time, good day, good night, wherever you may be. Cheese to meet you.
Cheers to meet
Nice
you
to meet
guys.
you all.
Take care.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks.
Take care.